In this video, you'll discover how cigarettes became a surprising form of currency during World War II, revealing a fascinating aspect of wartime economics and human ingenuity. Hey, welcome to Vaulted Visions. Today, we're diving into one of the most unexpected stories of World War II, the rise of cigarette currency. You might be surprised to learn how this humble item became more valuable than money in many war-torn regions. Stick around until the end because we'll also explore how this unique phenomenon influenced the post-war world in ways you might not expect. World War II was a time of incredible hardship, with economies across Europe and beyond facing severe strain. In many regions, the standard currency lost its value, and traditional markets were disrupted. Soldiers, civilians, and prisoners of war alike had to adapt to a new way of life, where the things they once took for granted were no longer accessible. One such adaptation was the use of cigarettes as a form of currency. But how did this come about? It's important to understand the context in which cigarettes gained this extraordinary value. Cigarettes were already a popular item among soldiers. They provided a brief escape from the horrors of war, a small comfort in a world filled with uncertainty. As the war dragged on, the supply chains for traditional goods and currency broke down. Soldiers and civilians needed a stable and universally accepted medium of exchange, and cigarettes, with their high demand and portability, filled this role perfectly. Perhaps the most notable use of cigarettes as currency was in the prisoner of war (POW) camps. In these camps, where official currency was often worthless, and barter was the primary means of acquiring goods, cigarettes became the default currency. The prisoners, deprived of basic necessities, found that cigarettes were a reliable and widely accepted medium of exchange. In these camps, a cigarette's value was not just as a smoke but as a means to obtain food, clothing, or even favors. The Red Cross regularly provided care packages to POWs, which included cigarettes. These cigarettes became a lifeline, not just for smoking but for survival. A fascinating aspect of this cigarette economy was its sophistication. Prices were established for various goods and services within the camp, and cigarettes were used to settle debts, trade for extra rations, or even bribe guards. The value of a cigarette could fluctuate based on supply and demand, creating a rudimentary yet effective economic system within the camp. The use of cigarettes as currency wasn't limited to POW camps. In many parts of Europe, where traditional currencies had lost much of their value due to hyperinflation or occupation, cigarettes became a de facto currency among civilians. In post-war Germany, for example, the Reichsmark was nearly worthless. People needed a stable currency, and cigarettes provided that. American soldiers, who had access to a steady supply of cigarettes, found that they could use them to buy anything from food to luxury goods. This period became known as the cigarette economy. Civilians quickly adapted to this new form of currency. Shops accepted cigarettes as payment, and black markets thrived with cigarettes as the primary means of exchange. Even the government acknowledged the situation by using cigarettes to pay workers in some instances. The rise of cigarette currency had a profound impact on social dynamics during and after the war. It wasn't just about the exchange of goods, it reflected deeper changes in society. Cigarettes, a symbol of comfort and normalcy, became a lifeline for many, and their value extended beyond their monetary worth. This new form of currency also highlighted the inequalities of the time. Those with access to cigarettes, particularly American soldiers and those with connections to the black market, held significant power. This created a hierarchy where the ability to trade in cigarettes could determine one's access to food, shelter, and other necessities. The cigarette economy also blurred the lines between traditional social classes. A person's wealth was no longer measured in terms of money but in the number of cigarettes they possessed. This shift had long-lasting effects on the post-war economy, as people became more accustomed to bartering and trading rather than relying on conventional currency. As the war came to an end and economies began to stabilize, the use of cigarettes as currency started to decline. Traditional currencies were reintroduced, and the black markets that had thrived on cigarette currency began to disappear. However, the legacy of cigarette currency lingered. It served as a reminder of the adaptability and resilience of people during times of crisis. The stories of how cigarettes became more valuable than gold in some areas of Europe remain a powerful testament to the human spirit's ability to find value in even the most unlikely of items. Now, here's something intriguing. The concept of using alternative currencies during times of crisis didn't end with World War II. In fact, similar situations have arisen in modern times, where goods like coffee, alcohol, and even batteries have been used as currency in regions facing economic collapse. It's a fascinating reminder of how history often repeats itself, and how human ingenuity can create order out of chaos. If you found this exploration of cigarette currency during World War II as fascinating as we did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Vaulted Visions. Don't forget to leave a comment below with your thoughts or any questions you might have. See you in the next video.